Richard is in Tunbridge Wells. Richard, are you disgusted?
I am fairly disgusted.
Is she toast?
I'm not. I've never been a Conservative voter, although I don't sound like it. I've voted Labour all my life.
We don't indulge in that sort of lazy stereotyping on this programme, Richard.
Although in Tunbridge Wells it's rather a pointless exercise.
Yes, I can imagine.
Liz Truss, she would be toast, but she won't be. Because in order for her to be toast, the Conservatives either have to accept a general election, which they can't do because they consign themselves to oblivion for the next 10 years at least, or they'd have to agree on one figure. They can't have another one of these ridiculous contests.
10 hats in the ring territory is just not. Yeah.
So they would have to be able to coalesce around a single figure. And in my book, there isn't a single figure because the party is in such a mess that it's crucially divided along so many lines. So I think what will happen is that she won't be able to do much for the next 2 years, but she will somehow stagger on doing not very much. After all, if you consider Major managed to survive for 5 years after Black Wednesday, but I mean, I worked for that government. I worked as a civil servant at the time, and it was a very painful process.
I'm sure.
Because it couldn't do anything.
And so it was a sort of a zombie administration, in a sense. Well, she's certainly not acting like a zombie. I mean, she might sound like a zombie, but the policy...
Well, no, she is a zombie. She's certainly not acting like a zombie, but she will be forced to in the end, because she just won't be able to do the things she wants to do.
Some of us are born zombies, some of us achieve zombiness, and some of us have zombiness thrust upon us. She's in the final category. Good grief. Yeah. Okay, so you've worked in the world, so I'll run this by you. Are you forgetting the cockroach-like ability of the Parliamentary Conservative Party to prioritise survival and success over all else? So, you know, the papering over the cracks, the temporary healing of the decisions, the forgetting of grudges could coalesce around Rishi Sunak in the context of the parliamentary party.
I don't think Sunak is well, the parliamentary party might like it, but the electorate wouldn't.
And that would always be, well, unless it goes unchallenged, in which case it wouldn't go to the electorate, would it?
Well, no, it wouldn't, but it would still cause a bit of a problem. I mean, we don't want one of these brown people in Prime Ministership, for goodness sake.
I think there is that element among the membership, but he was definitely, as we both know, the most popular candidate among the parliamentary party.
Well,
so if they could effect a Theresa May type transfer of power, where they actually don't have to go through a leadership election,
or even the Boris, yes. I mean, if they could do that, but I still wonder whether they would coalesce around Sunak.
Yeah. Well, that's why I bring up the cockroach theory, because the desperation to survive would possibly encourage people to...
It will only hold them in place for another 2 years. They won't. There is no way that they will win the next election. I don't think Labour will either. I think we'll have some kind of cobbled together coalition. But
we shall see.
We shall see.
We shall see. But I think
she should be toast, but she won't be. Is my view.
Yeah, and I mean it's backed up as well. Although I keep reaching for the cockroaches. I do think that they will try. Probably sooner rather than later. We'll know relatively soon. They will probably try to do some sort of bloodless coup where they don't have to go through, because Richard's absolutely right, another leadership election. Could you imagine any more hustings? Good God, no. But I don't think they can continue like this, because the Conservatives, unlike the Labour Party, act very, very ruthlessly when they are led by someone who is toxic. You saw the last fellow who led the Labour Party was allowed to fight 2 general elections despite being obviously toxic. The Tories just don't do that. I don't think Ian Duncan Smith got to fight a general election at all. Did he? When someone is objectively rubbish, they will get rid. And Liz Truss is looking pretty close to objectively rubbish.